Well, hey, real estate fans, welcome back to Southern Oregon Housing Podcast. I'm Alice Lema. I am a principal broker at Home and Land Real Estate here in Southern Oregon. And this week, what's the Fed got to do with it? We've got predictions for Southern Oregon prices now that we know who the new nominated Federal Reserve Bank chairman is going to be. And it's going to be Mr. Kevin Warsh. And Mr. Kevin Warsh is not a big fan of inflation. He is possibly, in my opinion, likely to do a modest interest rate reduction, maybe kind of early on. But I'm looking the whole situation over, not as an economist, because I'm not an economist. I don't even play one on TV, but I do like data. I do a lot of research, a lot of research. I'm fascinated by all the things housing nationally and locally. And I'm going to go on the record and predict he's not going to do too much. He's not going to be very dramatic. We're not going to see a very big difference between where we are now and 2026 and going into 2027. Why do I say that? Because all these people in the government are putting a lot of time and energy into keeping inflation down. And inflation is what homeowners depend on, need, like to get higher prices. So it used to be that when interest rates went down, prices went up, at least here in Southern Oregon. And we also have in Southern Oregon a little higher um, price, higher than the national average because we're so desirable. We're one of the it girls. We're rural, we're urban, we're easy to get to. Our weather is really yummy. Well, mostly yummy. And we have a lot of the West Coast people and East Coast people living in the big cities, very expensive areas. They're selling their stuff. They're moving here when they retire, and that keeps our prices up. And that's a double-edged sword. We'll do another podcast about what that really means to locals. But here we are talking about what the Fed is going to do or not do and how it affects us here in Southern Oregon. So I'm not looking for any changes. Here we are, middle of February, spring markets loading up to launch, and we're going to have a lot of action. I can tell already. We had a very active winter here in Southern Oregon, and we're just getting a lot of listings. We have a lot of buyers coming off the sidelines. Everybody's sick of waiting. We have people waiting to buy and sell since before COVID. So anyway, the future Chairman Warsh is, in my opinion, not going to shake it up very much. And we're going to go along kind of the way we are. The prices will be about the same for the next 24 months. We'll see if I'm right. We'll go back and check. You know what is going to affect our prices more than future Chairman Warsh? JP Morgan put out an article, and we're going to quote John Sim, who's the head of securitized products research at JP Morgan. And he was quoted as predicting that the fixed rate mortgages are going to stay elevated right around 6%. And after all my own like non-official homework, I'm kind of in agreement with that. But what is going to shake it up is the supply, because this Mr. Sim from JB Morgan has said that the housing shortage was overemphasized and that um, our growth rate, and that's household growth rate is what they're talking about, is been pretty low. And that has to do with the birth rate and people getting families and needing more housing because the population is growing. So JP Morgan is saying that the household completions are netting out to nearly zero. I'm not in an agreement with that, especially here in Southern Oregon, but that's a different podcast. So the supply has been climbing. We're actually in danger of overbuilding, and that overbuilding is more likely to have home price decline than anything else. And so when you look at that scenario, which is not something we've been talking too much about, we have a lot of new construction going on in Southern Oregon, but the new construction we're seeing in Southern Oregon was permitted and applied for sometimes as much as 10 or 12 years ago. It's very hard to get stuff done in Oregon. And I'm not being critical, I'm being matter of fact. Oregon has a unique set of planning laws, and all these houses that you see going in were decided a long, long time ago. And some of these builders are cutting their prices, which I don't hardly ever see builders do that because they want to maintain the integrity of the price of their subdivision. Because if you discount for one person, it brings the whole subdivision down. So it's interesting to see JP Morgan put this out, and they're looking at the supply of single family homes as increasing over time. And I want to show you this chart that JP Morgan put out, and you can see since 2000, this is the supply of single family homes, and you can see the ebb and flow, but it's mostly on the upside. So that's what they're basing their predictions on. So it's all very interesting. It's a little bit of a surprise and a twist that we may be in for a stabilization, a more permanent stabilization of price than we realize, because we've all been talking about interest rates. So there you go. If the supply continues to come on from new construction, additional supply is going to come on from existing home sellers who are just over it and sick of it. And we could end up with just this kind of stable, somewhat buoyant, self-supporting, normal housing market in Southern Oregon. But what that means for buyers and sellers, here you go. Sellers, it's in all of our appointments right now. Every time I go to somebody's home, we talk about this, and it's starting to sink in. I can see and hear, and the listings I'm taking, the sellers are much more realistic than they have been in 3 years. Buyers, it doesn't last forever, but you're going to have some smooth sailing here. You also may continue to still get concessions if you ask for it. There are going to be hot properties that come on the market that are a little bit underpriced or perfectly priced or amazing condition, or they have a pool, or they have extra in-law quarters, or extra goodies. So you're going to jump on that. But also, buyers, you just need a place to live. If you're buying for investment, you just need to start getting that cash flow. So for buyers, I just encourage you to get it done. Stop waiting, stop trying to time the market. And then looping back to sellers, welcome to the new world. It's not a terrible thing. A lot of us still have plenty of equity, and we're sick of waiting to move on with our life. When you're in a selling position, that means you have something better to go to or something different to go to that's more appropriate for you. So all in all, I'm thinking this is great, but it's not what everybody was hoping for, but at least we know what to expect. And that right there is worth everything. So with that in mind, I want you to give me a call, give me a text. Let's talk about what we're going to do for you to make your real estate life better. Give me a call, give me a text, 541-301-7980. That's 541-301-7980. I want to be your agent. I'm a great listing agent, a great buyer's agent, great with investments. I'm also the owner of Home Nest Property Management. We've got fabulous opportunities in that company. But overall, we're here to help you with your real estate needs, no matter what they are. And we're here for the long haul. We love real estate. It's what we do every single day, all day long. And we keep diving deeper into it. So give me a call, give me a text. Also, like and subscribe to this channel. If you're getting something out of it, let us know. We have a personal goal of hitting 1,000 subscriptions. That's a big deal for our YouTube channel. But also, we're here to educate you and help you make good consumer decisions. So do like and subscribe to the channel, and tell your friends and family. This is a great place to hear the latest and greatest info for housing in Southern Oregon. Have a great Super Bowl weekend. We'll see you next time. Bye, folks.